What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I want to talk about the overall market and break down something very important that's going on. I want to talk about some things about the Fitch downgrade that happened not too long ago, why this is quite significant, and what this has to do with the market right now, and what on earth these fund managers could be thinking about how they're going to move the market over the next month or so. Before I break anything down about all this information, before I talk about what's going on with the markets, let me just mention a couple of things. I'm firstly not a financial planner, so make sure you take none of this as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull, the link down below, and deposit any amount of money into the account, you are guaranteed up to 12 free stocks. The offer ends very soon, in just about 2 weeks, so check it out before they run out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. Anyways, looking at SPY, we had a very interesting day. I'm sure you guys remember seeing this like inverse head and shoulders like pattern that was developing right about here before we saw the market getting bought right back up. So we had this inverse head and shoulders, the head here, the left shoulder, the right shoulder, and then the market started like pushing up very, very nicely. But then on the 30 minutes time frame, we got a rejection off our 200 EMA. And then when the market rejected, we started to sell off. And we continued to break support after support, and we got this monstrous sell off as time went on. So the question is, will the market continue to sell off like this, or is the market going to try to bounce? Well, the first thing is we have to try to get back above 448. If we manage to do so, then there is a chance for the market to, bounce, but it's not really looking that way. It looks relatively weak. And if we do continue to sell off and break the low of the day, we're most likely going to see 442 for the next gap fill on SPY. But why is the market selling off, and why is all of this happening all of a sudden? Right? Because SPY also had this head and shoulders like pattern that developed. It's a little hard to see right here. Let me just make this a little bigger. So you can see there's like this head, and then we have like a left shoulder and a right shoulder. So it's all kind of like forming a very similar formation. But the reason why this happened has less to do with the actual market and more to do with manipulation, in my opinion, of the financial system. So I'm going to break down exactly why that is. So it's all kind of coming back to this Fitch downgrade when they downgraded the US long-term rating from a triple A rating to a double A plus. And what this basically means is when other investors and what other companies and etc. make investments into the USA, when they put in money and they pour it in, they have a tendency of oftentimes looking at the US's rating. It's like a credit score. They look at the rating and they use that rating to determine if the US is more likely to pay off their debt. Now, a double A plus rating is still not bad. It's still a good rating, but the triple A was a much better rating than before. And the last time we saw some news like this, and this is exactly what they knew, the market tended to slow down. You can see right over here, the S&P 500, the NASDAQ composites, they all came down after the last time this happened in 2011. And this is very important because this was a catalyst to slow the market down. And it's not just a single catalyst. There are also other factors such as Apple selling off. And we could see even more with some banks going into the next couple of weeks/months. And now the question is, how is the market going to move? Well, the real answer to that is you have to remember something. I know it's a little hard for me to display this, but one thing I can tell you is that Wall Street, these big investors, they made a mistake. Okay, they were betting the market would start like coming down and shorting not too far back, even like during levels like down here. We saw Wall Street trying to short, and they were actually start buying in a little bit late during some of this rally. So Wall Street did not play this entirely correct. They were a little bit late to the rally. They were a little bit early. Some of them were a little bit too early as well. Some of them shorted a little bit too late. And when they started to buy in at these higher levels, they're not too happy about it. So they want to basically cause the market to drop, okay, for the month of August through September. That's historically one of the weakest periods of the year, but more towards September. And then what they're going to do is wait, buy the dips, dollar cost average down, and then wait for the market to explode near the very end of the year. And I think that's what's most likely going to happen because this news happened to come out because many of these fund managers were holding cash and they wanted to buy the dips. They want to get the market to drop down. They were selling at the top. They want to get the market to drop so they can start rebuying near the bottom and then let the market rally near the very end of the year. And I think that's very, very probable. I also want to add on that that we're going to be looking at seasonality as a very, very big indicator. The market was relatively strong throughout like June and July, for instance. This is a little bit different, but historically, we tend to be relatively weak in part of August and more towards like September. That tends to be a little bit weaker for the markets, especially September. This period tends to be kind of slower. And then by the time we get to October, going into November, we tend to see the market become a lot stronger, right? Especially November. That's when the market becomes really, really strong. So the question is, will the market continue to follow this trend? Well, you have to remember, okay, next year is a very important year. You guys know what's happening next year, right? In November of next year, we have the elections. Why would they let the year close out super red? It's not going to be good for whoever is running. So, you could say this is all conspiracy or not. It's really your choice. But when the election's coming up, they're going to want a relatively good year. So, how do you try to get a good year? Well, you let the selling pressure, the pullback happen a little bit before, a few months before the end of the year. Maybe during the August to September period. Then during the last 3 months, you give us a very strong quarter and they try their best to give us a monstrous rally. That is what seems very probable as of right now. My opinion could change if there's some kind of like really bad news, if something bad happens, like another virus, for example, or things start breaking the credit systems. Those are possibilities that could change my opinion. But right now, I don't really see that happening. I don't have a change of opinion. So I still have the same like mentality about this market, the same mindset, the same things I'm anticipating basically. That the market may sell off a bit, be a little weak for August and parts of September. And then going into the last 3 months, we could see the market slowly uptrend and get stronger and stronger by November. This is when I think November is going to be very strong. Historically, it's the strongest time of the year. 80% of the time in November, we're green historically. And it's very likely we're going to see something like that. The market's going to try to rip to the upside. And I think it's very probable. Now, why on earth am I also thinking this pullback could come before any rally? Well, you also have to remember that, let's just close this right up. We have to remember that the market's very, very greedy, right? Our stock price index is on extreme greed. We look at our summation indexes and even look at the market volatility, which is now in more fearful mode. Things are shifting in the market, and it really started for Friday. So, what I'm seeing is simple. The market is going to likely downtrend a bit longer. If we continue to break this low, right, we have to watch and see if we break the low. If it keeps doing that, we're going to be watching this thing come all the way down to the 442s. All right, that's fine. And if we continue to break down, maybe we could just trade sideways for a while, see the market down here, just maintain low values for a while, maybe sell off a little bit more as we approach September. Could we come down to the 430s? I don't know about that. But if that happens, I'm completely fine with that because whether we go all the way down there or even lower, it's a good buying opportunity for the end of the year because the market's going to likely try to continue pumping. And in my opinion, we could still break this high of 460 by the end of the year. So imagine how much SPY is going to run during the last like 2 months or so, maybe even like a part of like October. There's going to be lots of upside coming still. It's very likely. And this is just another opportunity. So Wall Street knows they kind of messed up. They were a little bit late to buy in. They also started shorting a little bit too early, and they want revenge. They want to find a way to make their money back, and the easiest way to do it would be to artificially find a way to bring the market down when it historically drops so they can start buying those dips. What could help them do that? This news happens to be one of the best things for that. Now, why do I say this? Now, I'm not trying to say this in a way that it's just, full of conspiracy and stuff like that, but I'm simply trying to state that this news came out in a very strange time. This could have come out in like I said before, in like June or July. It did not come out during those periods. They waited until a much later time to really announce this, and they were possibly working on this, and the market could have known about it, but the market didn't choose to actually drop until now. Why? Because it happened to be the first day of August. Exactly the first day of August, this news came out. It's all part of their game. Get the market down, buy those dips, dollar cost average, then let the market pump at the end of the year. It's like a matrix market. It's all part of their game. So that's what's going on in the markets. I hope you guys are prepared for moves like this. We have to be very much prepared for all the volatility that's going to be coming. Could the market drop more? Sure. It's very healthy for it to cool off. And I'm ready to play this. I'm ready to look at the volatility and then scalp it. I've been scalping a lot. That's been working very well for me. I hope it's working well for a lot of other people as well. And please do what you have to do and just know about what on earth is going on. So hopefully this is helpful. And hopefully this forecast could help you out when it comes to the way you're viewing the market for the next few months. So once again, just for clarification, let me just go back to Tradedics. Basically, there could be a slowdown for the August to September period. Then through October to December, I'm leaning more bullish and I think the market's going to pump. My opinion could change. I could change my view if something happens that's unexpected in the credit markets or something like that. But regardless of that news, which I'm not seeing right now, at the time I'm recording this, I think this is most likely what's going to happen. Some bearish price action first for a month or two, and then we're going to see some monstrous pumping for the end of the year, and crazy money could be made if we play this right. All right, guys, so that's what I have for this video. Thank you all so much for listening. Have an absolutely spectacular rest of the day. The market to the moon. I want to keep this as simple as possible. Thank you, and peace out.